This is our call to order for the meetings. This is our Board of Commissioners zoning public meeting tonight. Thank you to our security tonight. We appreciate all of you. If you have any space, doesn't look like there's any space, thank y'all for being good and making sure if there's anybody else that wants to come in. I see one seat right back here. Is that safe for anybody? It's available? Okay. And I think that's it. Okay, and there's also a seat up front. All right, very good. So first we'll start with an approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Next we have approval of the minutes for June 25th, 2026.
I move to approve the minutes.
I second the motion from June 25th, 2026.
I have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries.
And so, Madam Chair and Commissioners, before we get to the rules of procedure for public hearing, if I could call Director White up to the podium, please. And we've had a request from both the applicant and the planning department to defer this application. The initial request was to defer this application to October, but I would like to have the director address that issue and then discuss amongst the board, because I just want to be clear that if the board decides to defer this application tonight, we will not be having a hearing, but if they decide to proceed, we will be having a hearing tonight. So I think it's important that we decide that matter before we proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director Rutledge. So members of the board, we received a deferral request from the applicant regarding these items on the agenda for this evening. So that initial request for deferral was to the October 22nd BOC zoning public hearing. Since that time, the applicant has amended that request and is requesting a deferral to the September 24th BOC zoning public hearing, if that pleases the board. Related to this item, we've received supplemental information from the applicant regarding the application. The staff is still currently reviewing. And so we are not prepared to give a recommendation on this evening, but if it's the board's desire to move forward, we will proceed.
Okay. Can you help me understand? This is, I believe, our third time at the same place. Is that accurate?
Yes.
For a deferral?
Yes.
So I know it takes up a lot of your staff's time and our time and citizens' time. So I'd like to get a better understanding of what's typical practice for something like this, because I've never been to this many opportunities for a company and then we're still at the same place. So help me better understand that.
And so this is not an unusual request. And so when you have projects that are large-scale projects or projects that have had a considerable amount of public input and feedback along with that process, deferrals happen as the applicant takes in the information, they're modifying plans, they're responding to the feedback that's received during the meeting, and likewise staff is doing the same thing. So we're taking in the feedback from the board, taking in feedback from the applicant, from the community, and all of that informs the process. And so when we have these rezoning requests, future land use amendments, special use permit requests, it's an iterative process. Mm-hmm. And so at each step, there may be additional information that then determines what the next move may be. And so as planning commission information comes in, there's a change. As we move to the zoning public hearing, there may be changes to the plans, modifications, questions, feedback, additional information. And so that's not an unusual thing to occur. And so I know we've been at this for quite some time, greater part of this year, but the applicant has stated what their concerns are in the letter that they sent to the board. We support the request for deferral, and so it helps inform the process. It also allows us to deal with some of the regulatory things that we need to deal with as relates to the code, and also take into consideration the supplemental supplemental feedback and information that we receive from the applicant.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So at this point, would you like to proceed with the, I'm sorry, I'm having issues with my microphone. Would you like to proceed with the hearing tonight, or would you like to vote to defer this item to the September? Is it the September zoning public hearing?
Yeah, September 24th.
I move to defer this until September 24th.
Is there a second?
I'm thinking. Do you know if the applicant is ready to present today?
Ms. Battle, are you ready to present today?
Would you be ready to present today?
Could certainly present today. We don't know.
Can you come to the podium? Thank you.
We weren't sure what the decision was going to be today. We are prepared to a certain extent to present today. We did send over a rather voluminous amount of information over to staff earlier this month, and we have not gotten feedback yet with regards to some of that information. I know they're still trying to digest it. It was over 42 pages of information that we sent over that they're trying to digest. We also were trying to understand what was happening with the UDO and whatever requirements are under there. So we literally got that today as we were, trying to prepare for this moment. So we did present at Planning Commission. Our presentation wouldn't be much different than what we presented at Planning Commission. And yet at the same time, we feel like if there's other changes or other information that staff needs, that we want to be responsive to that. That's what we've been trying to do through this entire process, is to be responsive to the questions and issues that have been raised. So, we could do this today and then staff could come back and tell us, well, now there's, 5 more things that we need that you haven't, addressed in the manner that we need you to address. So that's what we're trying to avoid.
But if we did that, conditions can go on any project.
It could. I just don't know if those are things that are going to be responsive to the things that the community may have to say. And so, we are here at your pleasure. If we need to address this tonight, we can. We just don't know what we don't know. That's the bottom line. We don't know what we don't know. And so we want to try and be as prepared and as responsive to the issues that have been raised by staff, to this board, as well as the community.
Okay.
I want to mention, too, that the county attorney had suggested that we should defer it, that would be the appropriate thing to do. So that's still my motion.
Okay, so the motion is still on the floor to defer this item until the September 24th zoning public hearing. Is there a second? Okay, motion fails?
Correct.
Okay,
Uh,
so,
I'll make a motion that we defer this item to the September 24th. I think, is that the right meeting
Yes.
date?
mhm.
24th for the final deferral. There will be no other opportunities after that.
Okay, is there a second for that?
I second that motion.
Yeah, I can second it, third it.
Okay, that'd be great. All right.
Now the vote.
So we have a motion and 2 seconds. So, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, so that means this item will not be heard tonight. It will be heard on the September 24th zoning public hearing agenda, and that will be the final deferral. Correct? Okay, thank you. Anything else from planning tonight?
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Is that all? Okay. All right, we do not have any new business, and there are no reports. Are there any other additional items, Madam Clerk?
No, Madam Chair, that's it.
Okay. At this time, I'll call the meeting to adjournment. Thank you.